Number one, I'd like you to recognize that the flock is the flock of God. Never you forget that the flock, they are the flock of God. Purchased by his own blood. Every life, every soul that God brings under your hand, either in the parish or in the various congregations where God is giving you men, or in the various ministry expression where God is allowing you to touch people's lives, may you never forget that this is the flock of God, purchased by his own blood. They will always be God's treasure. They will always be God's object of passion. The flock of God will always be at the center of the heart of God. And each time you touch the flock, don't forget you are touching the flock of God. There is a tendency as a pastor to forget that the lives that you see Sunday after Sunday, they are not your people. They are not your members. They are not your properties. They are not your farm. They are God's flock. They are God's building. Don't forget that you have only been allowed as a steward to take care of another man's estate. You will give account of how you handle them. Men that have served God properly, they walked under this constant consciousness that this is the flock of God which is among you. They may look weak, they may look ignorant, but they are the flock of God. Don't cheat them, feed them. Don't feed on them, feed them. Hallelujah. There is a very, very, very great difference between a shepherd and a hunter. The great difference between Esau and Jacob was that Esau was a hunter. And who is a hunter? A hunter is the man of the immediate. A hunter is a man who only sees, what can I eat out of this animal? A shepherd sees the capacity of every animal. A shepherd sees that this little animal today, if it is properly tended and nurtured, it can become the mother of a big flock tomorrow. Am I right? But what does hunter see? Hunter sees food. He says, hunt it, kill it, roast it, eat it. God is not calling you to be hunters, but shepherds. Hunters don't see the future. They only see today. Actually, you know that in our nation, some of our important animals have become extinct. Why? Because of hunting. Hunters will see a small rat that if you allowed it to grow, in another 6 months, it will have produced about 1,000 other rats. But what does the hunter do? He said, look, don't let it go. Finish it. And he kills it. And you know, each time you eat up a particular species, you are destroying a lineage. Shepherds, they are not hunters. Shepherds, give them a small goat this year. You will see how they will take care of that, and in 3 years' time, you go there, you see a flock. If you are a correct shepherd, you can start with any life. You can start even with one man. And if it's properly nurtured, it could become a congregation. As a shepherd, don't forget that this is the flock of God, not to be eaten, not to be scattered, not to be molested, not to be harassed. It's the flock of God. As you go through the Old Testament, you read Isaiah, you read Jeremiah, you read Ezekiel. You come to Ezekiel 34, you see God speaking about his flock. God is passionate about the flock because they are the flock he purchased with his blood. Every man in your congregation, you did not buy them. You did not die for them. And you don't have capacity, honestly, to change their destiny. So when God hands over souls of men to you, don't forget that these are souls for whom you will give account. So when Paul was speaking in that Acts chapter 20, he said, I have not kept back anything that is profitable to you. I am free from the blood of every one of you. This man had a sense of divine responsibility that every soul that God allows to come into your hand, God is going to require them from your hand. Ezekiel understood this. Jeremiah understood this. Moses understood this. And we see Paul emphasizing this again. I am free from the blood of every one of you. Which means until you discharge your shepherding, the blood of people is in your hand. Until you discharge your duty as a shepherd, blood is in your hand. Brothers and sisters, lift up your hand, let me see. There is blood in your hand. And unless we discharge our ministry, shepherding these lives deliberately, we won't be able to wash our hand of their blood.